Little Man Computer, that we will look at in this video, is a simplified form of assembly language. Look back at the 2.4a Programming Paradigms video for its advantages and disadvantages. But to briefly recap, assembly language is a low-level programming language closely linked to machine code that uses mnemonic instructions directly mapped to processor instructions, and it is processor dependent. The Little Man Computer, or LMC, is an educational model with a limited instruction set, used to represent the CPU and the FDE cycle. It uses a simplified form of assembly language to show how low level programming works, allowing data to be input, output, and stored in memory. The model uses the idea of a little man representing the control unit that follows simple instructions to interact with memory locations and registers. For the OCR A-level exam, students must be able to read, write, trace, and amend programs written in Little Man Computer. LMC uses three-letter commands called mnemonics to represent instructions. There are 11 mnemonics you need to know how to use. We'll start by looking at a very simple program with just three instructions. We will also monitor how the program counter, memory address register, and accumulator registers change with each example program. You don't need to track the PC and MAR in an exam, but you do need to keep an eye on the accumulator and how it changes. Let's start at the first line, line 0. The program counter stores the address of the next instruction to be executed, which will be line 1. The memory address register stores the address of the memory location currently being accessed, which is 0. And the accumulator is used to temporarily store data. It's also directly involved in several other operations, including input, output, loading, storing, and basic arithmetic. On this first line, the mnemonic INP allows the user to input a value, which is going to be stored in the accumulator. In an educational sense, the original idea was to imagine a little man moving data between registers in memory, such as storing the input value into the accumulator. We're not going to include the little man any further in the video, however. You'll notice that we just wrote INP without a value. The data is input separately, not directly within the instruction. So don't write INP4, for example, in an exam, just INP. On the next line, the PC increases to 2 because it always points to the next instruction's memory address, whereas the MAR is 1 because that's where we're currently looking. The accumulator value stays the same until it is overwritten. OUT outputs the value currently held in the accumulator. HLT stops the program from running, ending the fetch to code execute cycle, and our first, very simple program is complete. The PC shows 3 at this point, but we've halted and the program is finished. Let's look at some more Little Man Computer commands for DAT, ADD, and sub. DAT defines a memory location used to store data, often with a label and optionally an initial value. You can think of DAT a bit like using variables with an identifier and a value. You write this command at the bottom of the code after the program is halted. The identifier or label of the memory address is written first, then the DAT command, then optionally the initial value. It's important to know that LMC uses a direct addressing mode. We'll look at the 4 addressing modes in the next video in 2.4d. Direct addressing means that mnemonics like add and sub use the memory address of where the data is stored rather than an immediate value. This is a simple program example to input a number, add 2 to it, and then subtract 1. We'll start by inputting 6, which is stored in the accumulator. ADD2 or add2 adds the value in the memory address with the label of 2 to the current value in the accumulator, which was 6, now making 8. Now we output the accumulator's value of 8. SUB or sub subtracts the value stored at the given memory address from the value in the accumulator. 8 subtract 1 is 7, which is the accumulator's new value. Next, 7 is output, and then the program stops. A new mnemonic now, STA. STA stores the current value in the accumulator at the given memory address. This program will add 3 numbers together, storing the sum in a memory location labeled as total. First, we've input 5, which goes directly into the accumulator. We use STA to store the value of the accumulator into the memory address labeled total. In reality, it is a separate RAM address, but I've included it down on line 9 to show its value changes. We input another number now, which is 3 and stored in the accumulator. We add the value in the address labeled total, which is 5, to the accumulator value of 3, making its new value 8. 8 is stored back in total, which is now 8. Now for a third number, let's go for 6. The total of 8 is added to the 6 in the accumulator to make 14. The accumulator's value of 14 is output, and the program stops. Now we'll look at LDA. LDA loads the value stored at the given memory address into the accumulator. This program here will input two numbers, then output them in the order that they were input. First, we will input a number. Let's choose 9, which goes into the accumulator. 9 is stored in the address with the label num1. Now we'll input another number. Let's choose 5. 5 is copied from the accumulator and stored in the address with the label num2. We want to output the values in the order that they were input, so we will load the value from the address labeled num1, then we output it. Now we load the value from the address labeled num2 and we output that, and stop the program. The three remaining mnemonics are forms of branching, which is when the program jumps to a different instruction instead of continuing in order. They are often used to form a loop or make a decision. BRA will branch always to the given address. This is known as an unconditional jump. BRZ will branch to the given address if the value in the accumulator is exactly 0. This program here keeps adding numbers together until 0 is entered and then outputs the total of the input values. Destination branch labels of where to branch or jump to are written before instructions. I have two here, restart and end. When line 4 is reached, the program will branch back to line 0, regardless of the value in the accumulator, as BRA is a branch always command. On line 1, if the value in the accumulator at that moment is exactly 0, then the program will branch to line 6. Branch labels should be appropriately named to make their purpose clear. Starting at the beginning, we'll input 5, which goes into the accumulator. We ignore the destination branch label of restart. We check if the accumulator is exactly 0, but it's not, so we move on and add the total to the accumulator. This is currently 0, so there's no change. We then store 5 in the memory address labeled total. BRA will branch no matter what the accumulator's current value is, but it will affect the program counter, which needs to change to the line the destination branch address is on, which is 0 in this example. Back at the start, we'll add another number. This time we'll go for 11, and go through the process again of adding it to the total, storing it, and branching back to the beginning. This time we'll input 4. And now we want to finish, so we will input 0. BRZ end is activated because the accumulator's value is exactly 0, so the PC needs to change to where the destination label for end is on line 6. As soon as we jump, we load the value from the memory address with the label of total. We output it and end the program. Now for the final mnemonic before we look at one more complex example. BRP will branch to the given address if the value in the accumulator is positive or 0. This program will input two numbers and output whichever is largest. We'll start by inputting 8 and store it in an address labeled as num1. Then we input 5 and store that in an address labeled num2. With num2, which was 5, still in the accumulator, we can subtract num1 from it. Essentially, for this scenario, if the value in the accumulator is positive, that means that num2 is larger. But if the value is negative, it means that num1 must have been larger. We had 5 in the accumulator, which was num2. We took away 8, which was num1, and are left with minus 3. That tells us that the first number is larger. We have to ignore the BRP mnemonic here because the accumulator is negative. So we skip it and load num1, which is 8, and output it, correctly showing the larger of the two numbers. Let's run this program again, but with new values, to double check it works the other way. We'll input 3, store it in num1, then input 7 to store in num2. Subtracting 3 from 7 gives 4, which is a positive value, so BRP second is activated, and we branch to line 9. Here we load num2 to output it and halt the program. Again, it has worked as expected, as 7 was larger than 3. Finally, let's look at one more program which uses all required mnemonics except for BRP. This program multiplies two numbers using repeated addition. It repeatedly adds the first number to a running total while decreasing the second number by 1 each time, stopping when the second number reaches 0. We are going to multiply 4 by 3, inputting 4 to store in num1 and inputting 3 to store in num2. What we need to do is add num1 to a running total, the number of times as num2, so 4 plus 4 plus 4, for 3 times in this example. We will take 1 away from the value of num2 each time until it reaches 0, so tracking 3 to make the total 4, 2 to make the total 8, 1 to make the total 12, and then at 0 we stop adding, leaving us with the correct answer of 12. We'll load num2 to begin, even though the first time round it's actually already in the accumulator. This is where the start branch destination is each time we loop round, and we need to load it at the start of each loop. We check if num2 is 0, but it's not, so we subtract 1 from it and store it back in its same address. Now we load the total, which will start at 0, add num1, which is 4, and store the new total back in the same location. BRA start takes us back to the beginning of this section. Now we go for it again, with num2 changing from 2 to 1, as the total increases from 4 to 8. The third time through sees num2 decrease from 1 to 0, and the total increase to 12. Now that num2 is 0, BRZ end is activated, where we move to line 12, load the total, and output it. This program looks complex at first glance, but like all topics in computing, requires a bit of practice and should hopefully start to make logical sense. You can search online for LMC simulators and practice writing programs. It's the best way to improve your understanding and your ability to write code, which you will need for the exam.